Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So what we're going to do in this webinar is we're going to go through the resources here at bookmap.com. For those of you who are new, welcome, and just go to bookmap.com and understand what Bookmap is, define it, how to connect, how to download it, what the prices are, some of the details there. And then we'll jump into Bookmap, the interface. I'll start to define some of the elements there because we have very unique visualization that offers you an advantage here compared to other trading platforms out there. And it needs definition, so you need to understand what you're looking at. And then we'll start to analyze just some of the basics in the order flow, and that leads well into next comment here. When you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. Okay, there is a 4-part educational course, and we go through in detail the just basic mechanics of the order flow, and then start to understand little higher time frames and start to understand structure, and then we get into setups, what to look for within some of those structures and within some of those movements in the market. And then the last and final webinar, we start to go through some of the advanced analysis. Then what we do is every day we back up that same content in the live order flow analysis webinars. Okay, they start at 11 Eastern, so in about 25 minutes every day following this webinar. We go for about an hour, and we look at all of the same content that we cover in the educational course, and then we start to, due to our analysis, we start to anticipate future price movement. Okay, so the concept here is that the product comes with education, but it doesn't stop there. Okay, we also have the live market analysis going through the same process as the educational course. So you can see it in the live market, and then you'll start to understand what you're looking at and start to anticipate the future price movement based on the analysis. Okay. You're welcome, Khaldun. So let's jump over and look at bookmap.com here. We'll scroll down. There's an intro video here. Some information about Bookmap as we just kind of scroll through here quickly. Bookmap for US equities, I'll cover this in just a minute, and we'll continue to scroll down, and I'll stop here at connectivity. Okay, so let's define what Bookmap is. It's a software trading platform. Okay, we're a platform just like other platforms that are out there. You can see in connectivity here that we have a few other platforms listed like Ninja, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. Now, we're a platform just as they are. However, we also connect via the API of these 3 different platforms. So you can go that route if you like. However, we highly recommend connecting directly to the data provider like CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact, and Dev Experts. Okay, so why is this an advantage? Because you get the data directly from them. It doesn't go through some other third party. Okay, now so we have many ways of connecting here, as you can see. This is a huge benefit. And then let's go over the US equities here. This is with the Dev Experts or DX feed. So we'll scroll back up and just cover this. It connects via NASDAQ Total View and in EdgeX as well, that you can see here. This is for BATS. So these two together, you can either get them individually or together as a consolidated feed. It's up to you. We have a special that's on right now that you can get both of them for $59 a month, but for the first month only, and then it's $119 after that. or you can subscribe to just NASDAQ Total View for $69 a month or $59 a month for EDGX. Okay, now a little more information about this too. So if you are an equities trader or just follow the markets and you want that information in Bookmap to apply to some of the stock indexes for the futures market, okay, or maybe some of the other commodity markets. It's however you trade, doesn't matter. The point is here is we're having a webinar here today at 1 p.m. Eastern time, okay, and we're going to go through a lot of different things in the equities in this data feed. So I'm going to give you the link here if you are interested in subscribing. So here you go. Okay, it's in the chat box there, so you can click there and subscribe. And just if you don't have time, simply register anyway, and we'll send you a link to the recording if you're still interested but don't have time at 1 p.m. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Back to bookmap.com. We covered equities. We covered what Bookmap is, how to connect. Here's how you subscribe. Okay, and the prices involved. You can subscribe yearly. You get a 20% discount, or you can subscribe monthly, and then you can see the different versions here. And there's just some distinctions here, obviously, between the different versions, but you can see digital and then global, and then a couple of different versions of each of those. So digital, it's free. You get live connection to the GDAX exchange for one digital currency. Okay, that's it. The digital plus version, you get up to 20 different currencies that you can access at the same time. The data is free, and you can use the one-click trading and trade right into your GDAX account here. You can record and you can replay the data, and you also get the advanced education that I was talking about. These are all the distinctions between the digital plus and the digital version. Okay, the free version. The global version. Now, what global means here is it connects to all the markets, or the ones that your data provider supports. So it's for connecting to the futures markets and the U.S. equities. Okay, the U.S. equities with that DX feed, and the futures with all of those data providers that I just went over, like Rhythmic and CQG, etc. Okay, now you will need to provide that data. We're not a data provider. We're a software trading platform. So that's the global version, $49 a month. And then Global Plus, what you get are all of our proprietary indicators we put together. Okay, one is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart, which is a great advantage because you have the liquidity in front of you. So front run high liquidity, hide your stops behind high liquidity. And it's just higher probability trading for you, and that's an advantage. You can see here like some of our proprietary indicators like the large lot tracker start to identify specific players in that market. Okay. Some imbalance indicators, an iceberg detector or tracker or detector, again, larger players that are hiding their liquidity because they don't want you to see it. And then we have correlated markets that can be plotted onto the chart. Okay, that's a Bookmap subscription. Let's jump over social media. You can follow us here at bookmap_pro. All sorts of great stuff here, usually every day. And then our YouTube channel, you might want to subscribe to that. Just go over some of the playlists here on the front page here. For those of you who are new, just watch some of the intro videos, very short. You can just see they're a couple minutes long. And then here's a Bookmap 7 overview. You might want to check that out. And then features and components. Again, Bookmap 7 overview and just some of the basics and understanding what you're looking at. And then order flow video snippets. We'll stop here. These are very short, concise videos. I recommend watching as many as you can of these that start to show you or visualize what you really can't see with other platforms out there and what Bookmap is showing you. So now you're starting to understand the order flow phenomena that Bookmap is uncovering. And these kinds of concepts we go over in detail in those live analysis webinars, okay, once you start subscribing. All right, that's that. See, I gave you the link here to this. I'll put it back in the chat for you again for that DX feed if you're interested, looking at some equities here. And then let's take a look at Bookmap, all right? The interface and what you're looking at. It's pretty interesting stuff right off the bat here. Okay, we're looking at the NASDAQ E-mini. Okay, let me zoom out a bit further here. This is great. Looking at some good stuff here today. All right, so for those of you new here, boy, this is a good chart to go over because I'm going to veer away, I think, from the way we usually go through and identify each of these elements in the Bookmap chart, and we'll just jump in here. I'll just quickly go through it. Basically, we're looking at just 3 elements on this chart, okay? And I'll just use the example up here, and we'll put the candlesticks on just so you guys have a reference and try to knock out 2 items at once here, okay? And just going to show you the 3 elements we have on this chart. Okay. Now here's our candlestick chart. Okay. We take off this indicator. Hold on just a minute. Okay, our POC, point of control indicator, and we'll close up our sub panel here, which is a cumulative volume delta. All right, 5-minute candlestick chart. Problem with it is it's aggregated data within a 5-minute period. You only get open, high, low, and close. Okay, that's a big problem. So the first element on the Bookmap chart is just showing historical best bid and offer. And that's it, right? So now you can start to see microstructure, and you can see what's kind of the price action within that 5-minute aggregated period. Okay, so for example, between this candle and this candle here, you see it kind of went sideways for a bit, then it broke out. Okay, now the candle shows some of that, but it doesn't show the microstructure, and it doesn't show you the volume, really where the volume picked up. And we're going to see it here. All right, so let's just turn that second element on in the Bookmap chart. Okay, and that's the volume. Okay, now, and let's zoom into this area here. Okay, now we can see where the volume took place on the chart. Okay, so very indicative of a trending environment here. Look at the higher highs and the big clusters of buying at higher highs. Okay, that's just usually how the order flow works in a trend. Okay, again and again and again. We see it every day, and you can count on it. And usually at the lower or the higher lows, you see very little trading activity and very little selling usually. Okay, that's very indicative of order flow in a trend, right? So let's take off the candlestick chart because we're going to go through this a little bit quicker than normal. And so now we're just looking at 2 elements on that Bookmap chart: historical best bid and offer and the volume. And we can see where we broke out here, right? And we see where the volume picked up on the breakout. This is very typical in the order flow. And we can see actually we broke out of a microstructure down here, okay? And see how the volume picked up here? Well, this is the advantage that you're getting because you're seeing this in real time. And all of these moves start with some sort of micro move usually. Okay, and a microstructural move. So, you know, we can see there's a consolidated area here of going sideways, but then it kind of trades up and accepts above in this area, and then it starts to break out, and this breakout is strong. There's a lot of volume. Okay, it comes up and tests this area, and then it really picks up and it trades above that area. There's enough buying interest to lift the offer up out of this range and bring it to higher highs. Okay, so let's zoom into this area and just show you these 2 elements so you understand what it is in Bookmap, and then we're going to add the heat map, and then I want to go over some of the nice order flow stuff we're seeing today in the chart. All right, so these 2 elements, okay, very, very simple data. Here's your best offer is the red line, best bid is the green line. You can see the spread widened out here, an extra tick. Okay, here's 1 tick wide, here's 2 ticks wide. Now we're looking at the volume here, let's bring up the dot size a little bit. And this is aggressive market buy. Okay, they crossed the spread, they took liquidity and traded to the aggressively took liquidity off of the best offer. Okay, a market sell is a red dot. Okay, now we can zoom into these areas and we can look at, go down and look at nanosecond data here. I'm going to kind of spare you that detail. I just want to show you that we're not aggregating any data whatsoever. It's all here, but when we zoom out, we start to just visually aggregate these dots into larger dots, and you can look at the very specific data if you want using this data tip tool. Okay, so anyway, it's all there. It just makes it more palatable for us when we zoom out and we start to consolidate it into bigger dots. Okay. Anyway, beautiful trending market here. Look at the way it's auctioning here. Just looks great, very strong, continues to go to higher highs. Now that third element on the Bookmap chart is the heat map. Okay, and all the heat map is, and let's go to the current market for it. All the heat map is the graphical representation of your dome. Okay, so here's the dome here, this COB column, current order book. And you can see here at 69.50, big figure, right? We can see there's 111 contracts. Okay, down here at 47.5, we have 146. That's the highest area in the book right now. Okay, and what we do is we take these areas of liquidity and on the bid here, for example, these are contracts, 146 contracts, and we give it a graphical representation in this live market window here that's to the right of this vertical white line. Okay, so when these numbers change, the liquidity changes, the heat map changes. Okay, so what we do though is we record it and we plot it on the chart historically. So look at this, look at the reaction to this liquidity here at 69.50. We're starting to find buyers. Were the sellers interested in taking these guys on? No. Okay, well that's why we're going to the upside right now. Right? Let's see if they lift the or raise their bid. Maybe they'll bring it up a little higher and chase. Okay, where's the target on this? Well, the higher liquidity up here at 55. Okay, which is interesting because that's the swing up here. Okay, usually you'll see that, now we're starting to really get some context here in the market because we're not only looking at the transactions, we're looking at the bids and the offers, and really where they're showing interest to line up and trade. That's what we want to know, and that's the context we want. It's rather difficult to see that context in the dome because when these numbers change, there's no history of it. Okay, so the advantage you're getting here is we take this data here and we record it and plot it on the chart. Okay, so now you don't have to read the dome and understand at 50 here. They've been in this market for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, or 4 or 5 minutes, and now they're getting tested, right? And we'll see if they mean business here or not, if it's real liquidity or fake liquidity. Okay. A lot of traders will say that, the dome's okay, but I don't give it too much credence because it's all fake liquidity. Well, it's not. Here, is this fake liquidity? Well, we're trading right into it. Okay, and they're taking it. They're taking that liquidity. Okay, so so far what is traded here has been we can see that there's been only 24 contracts out of those. Was 120, right? Something like that. Well, here's our 24. Okay? Now, some of it was being pulled here as we came up to it. Okay, so it was back over here at the highest area, 134. Okay, and note the striations and note the color change. Went down to 120, went down to 114. Okay, and then it started to go down to 107, but then about 24 of those traded. Okay, well, there's our reaction. Okay, now we're starting to understand. Now, do these guys at this 69.50 mean business? Kind of. Some of it traded, some of it stayed in the book, and some of it was pulled. Okay, so you'll see this again and again. So we're starting to understand, though, the current order flow or recent order flow, and their intent to trade at this 69.50 level. Okay, and look at the buyers that we found instead up here. They're still interested, right? They're continuing to lift that offer. So looking for another rotation back up here, and I'm looking for that potential to trade to higher liquidity on the offer. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a little bit back and forth here because we do see a nice little cluster here of some selling too. Yeah, it does look pretty good. So we may just be going sideways here, but my initial knee-jerk reaction was going to higher highs again. Well, we just kind of breached the small microstructure here, but not the strongest yet. We need to see it come up back into maybe this 56 area here. Right? See how much it broke out here just by a few ticks? Well, that's not enough. And we need to see big volume here on the buy side for this to be a sustained move. If it's not, this little breakout to the upside will fail and come back into the auction and has that potential to trade not only to 50, but then maybe down to 47.5. Okay? And we don't really see the follow through right now. But anyway, that's some live market analysis. Okay, now we're getting a little follow through. See the buyers starting to come in here. We need to see it trade above though, this 54, 54.5 area, okay, with good volume on the buy side. Okay, that looks a little bit better, definitely. Okay, so we're up to 56. Okay, let's see if we can get up to 60. Looks pretty strong, and there's our follow through. Okay, we know the buyers are in control. Now they're starting to bid up. So note this guy basically looks like he's pulling and maybe adding a bit higher here, as you can see. Okay, so we know that these larger players down here, they're starting to chase. Okay, look how they pulled at 50 and they're adding up here at 55. Right, so it looks like 60 is on the map here. Anyway, I want to go back and look at some of the bigger picture here in the order flow, because we see some really nice action today. Here's our 9:30 open. Okay, you see the volume dots. It really picks up, obviously, at 9:30. Actually, this is kind of funny to see. It's really nice to see. It's a really nice image. But it's not the most typical here that we see in a trend. To be honest, usually in a trend, what you see is areas of high liquidity on the offer, like you do here in some of these areas, but you see it up in these areas up here too. And instead, usually what we see is we don't see a lot of liquidity in a trend, in an uptrend here on the bid side. See how they're supporting price on the bid? They want to be buyers here. A lot of liquidity. Again, on the breakout here, they're supporting the breakout here on the bid. Okay, and again up here. So they've been supporting this on the bid the entire time. We can see that the sellers aren't taking them on, and we find more buyers and rotate higher. Okay, this is actually pretty atypical. Usually, like I said, it's pretty dark on the bid side, and you'll see that high liquidity here on the offer. It's the targets for that high liquidity, or for the aggressor to reach those areas of high liquidity. Anyway, what my main point here is that what we're looking at is the dome on a much higher time frame. So we're starting to use the dome here, not just for this current market, but for a much bigger picture. And here it is in front of us. So it's telling us what's going on. We see the buyers supporting it. Okay, so we were looking for 60 to get tested. Well, here it is. Like, I think looks like we came one tick short of it, or did we? No, we tested 60. You can see the best offer went into 60 here. All right. right, so pretty straightforward stuff. You know, when we're rotating back and forth here, we did see a little cluster of selling here, but still looked pretty decent to the upside. Another cluster of buying here, here, and then here. But we wanted to see a little more. And then once we started to break out here, then it looked pretty good. The buyers had it, they were in control. We're targeting high liquidity. And then here's what it looks like. You know, here's that target and objective reached. All right, and we continue to find more buyers here. All right, where are they headed here? Let's zoom vertically a little bit and just kind of check it out. Yeah, well, it's pretty dark on this side here. Yeah, they're definitely supporting it though on the bid. Great stuff. Great stuff to see. Okay, you can start to understand areas of you know, support and resistance here, and regardless of how you trade, like, you know, you might be looking at areas of support and resistance. You might be looking at pullbacks in a trend. We can cover that, you know, really quickly. Or maybe you're looking at fib levels. Doesn't matter. Whatever trading methodology you use, you want to understand what the book and order flow looks like in those areas. Okay, it's going to give you an advantage here because, for example, look how the we see very clearly here. Okay, let me go through this here. Okay, well, coming up to an area here, we see high liquidity coming into the book. They're interested in selling at these levels up here. Okay, 35 and 37, and the buyers don't take them on. Okay, it stops this trend to the upside. When we start to kind of go sideways, we find some sellers, rotates back down to where? High liquidity. So you can see clearly, okay, here's the breakout to the upside, okay, above this swing, okay, down here at 25. Here's the pullback, and look at the support here, right? So, you know, put this into like if you're looking at your fib level, your retracement fib level, or if you're looking for you know, a trend, or if you're looking for Elliott wave, doesn't matter. Continue to look at these areas and see if it's supported in the order flow. It's going to really add much higher probability to your trading. Okay, and again, the same thing here. Okay, here's the swing, here's the breakout, here's the support, and the bid side. And here's the reaction to that. And we just saw it again here around this 47 level here, or a little higher, basically at 69.50. And they're still lining up. They're at 53 and 55 now too. Okay, starting to make you know, maybe starting to note some things, and we're going to carry this discussion on into the next webinar here. It's time to go, but note how the trend is starting to wane here. Okay, we're not quite reaching the higher highs in the price channel. Okay, we're not finding as many buyers. Okay, we might find more sellers, and then this trend line may break. Okay, this is something that we're going to take a look at the next webinar. Right. So if you're signed up, then take a look there. If not, and you guys are interested in learning more about equities and Bookmap, then come to this webinar today at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I just put it into the chat for you. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.